top. Real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
This is the story of the one.
Tips and equipment to improve your game. The latest from the leaderboards and your favorite courses. This is Golf in the Northwest, an action-packed hour about everything golf. Now, here's your host for Golf in the Northwest, Jason Swigard.
And a fine good morning to you all as we continue to enjoy this ridiculous spring weather. We're getting spoiled. Most of the other countries dealing with really colder than usual, wetter than usual conditions, a lot of thunderstorms and goings on down in the Midwest and the South. Obviously, those of you that have been following professional tours have seen tournaments interrupted far too frequently for our liking as we're trying to take them in as we gear up for the PGA Tour's next major next week out in Oakmont, Pennsylvania, the PGA Championship. It's Quail Hollow. Oakmont will be the U.S. Open. I keep getting those two messed up this year. No, they will be in Charlotte for the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, which is why they're playing the Truist champion this week at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Could there be anything that sounds snootier than the Philadelphia Cricket Club?
Philadelphia Cricket Club, maybe the New Bedminster Cricket Club.
Okay.
Anything if you put new preceding anything northeastern,
That's true.
it just immediately makes me think of Argyle and sweaters.
Exactly, which is right up my alley, unfortunately. But yeah.
Now, is the PGA Championship the lesser of the majors?
If
you're ranking them, you go, that's last.
If you talked to most people, not casual fans, but people that follow golf aren't insiders, but seek out golf on a weekend to watch frequently, yes. There's usually a debate between the Open Championship and the Masters.
The top spot.
And then U.S. Open, and then it's, the PGA.
Yeah.
Which is usually how it goes.
Yeah.
It is a major.
Yeah.
They're trying to, usually that field, though, because you don't have the Open qualifying championships, and the Masters is such a reduced field, and they give out so many special exemptions to amateurs. The field isn't as deep. Actually, the toughest field, if you look from top to bottom, is the PGA Championship because you don't have any amateurs in there. The 20 spots that are held for the PGA Club professionals, they have their tournament. So these are but these are professional golfers. And so when you look at it, it's actually the deepest, toughest field, usually of the four.
Yeah.
But in terms of prestige and those sorts of things, it doesn't quite hold the same
I forget about it.
Yeah.
I know golf's 4 majors, but that's the one I always have to search
It helps
for.
that when they moved the schedule a few years back,
Yeah.
and they moved it back to May, so it's in between the Masters, and because a lot of times it was in August, and it was after the British Open. It was August, and a lot of sports fans in the United States were already gearing up for football season.
Yeah.
So now that it's right in the middle, you're coming off the Masters, so Rory got his deal done. Justin Thomas has won a tournament. Scottie Scheffler finally won a tournament last week. I think as time goes by and we still get used to this and the venues, they continue to up the venues and really get those courses dialed in, similar to U.S. Open. They don't want to go to the extremes. They think the USGA goes to extremes in how they set up courses, trying to, play to even par. PGA's not afraid of birdies. So they don't mind if a PGA champion is at 9, 10, 12 under. That doesn't bother them the way it seems to bother the USGA if somebody wins the U.S. Open at 12 under par. Oh, my God, it's an easy course or something.
Yeah, that's the equivalent with tennis, right? Is many will put the Aussie on the bottom of the rung. But if you talk to other tennis fans, they'll tell you
the French is more because it's such a...
It's an anomaly.
It's an
and
anomaly.
It doesn't have the history of Wimbledon because really the anomaly is Wimbledon. There's only 2 warm-up tournaments.
Wimbledon is more like the Open Championship to golf because
it has its history.
Been forever.
Yeah.
And you have the claret jug, you have the trophy there, the big jeweled plate for the women, and then the gold cup for the men.
But in the lead up, you only have 2 tournaments, one of which is an ATP 500 on grass. And that's the thing, because there is a clay court season.
There's a clay court season, yeah. There's
you play.
It's been going on for a month.
Yeah, for quite a bit. But the grass
in
season,
Rome,
it's literally
Monte
just
Carlo,
around Wimbledon. That's it. And there's 2
there's
of them.
like 2 weeks before. And I forget what it's like, the Queen's Club something event. And
there's one in Germany.
Yeah. There's not much. There's just fewer grass courts. It's hard to maintain. It's expensive to maintain. You have to pretty much be private clubs for people that can dole out the money to support those.
I'm also confused by the fact that the Masters is the first tournament of the, I'm using air quotes, season.
Yeah.
Well, you do have all year.
Well, you got the Players Championship, which is, known as the 5th major. So that's in March. They moved that to March. That's the one with the island green. And so when the PGA moved to May from August, then they moved the Players Championship to March. So that's so the players start to get into that mode, and they can build up to the Masters. We'll get in. I've always said the PGA schedule, they need to totally strip it down and start over. The problem is that they can't because they work so far out with these sponsorship deals and setting these things up. You can't just stop and completely reinvent it.
Well, it's kind of the same thing with college football, not sponsor-wise, but they sign those contracts for games they play that go through like 10 years.
Exactly.
And so then you get these conference realignments.
I need to sit down and like really map it out and come in with. It's one of those things. It's like, as you get older, it's like everybody can bitch and complain, but what's your solution? Yeah. So before we start going there, really quickly on a personal note, for people that have listened to the station yesterday, it was announced. Yes, indeed. I want to thank Dusty and Ryan Cooley for all their efforts. Yes, little promotion here. Thank you. Very, very excited.
You had him on Thursday on his knees.
Didn't have to go to that extent. I don't know. Luke sent something out with some of my greatest hits. I have no idea. Lord knows I have enough sound bites around here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
If you've got a young golfer in the family.
Young golfer. Yeah. We do have some young golfers.
For whatever reason that day,
I don't know.
You were malfunctioning.
That's okay. Sometimes
and I didn't
did it.
Stop you. You kept saying
I had
young.
an update. I had an update going on where I said the Warriors like the new Golden State
I like
breakfast
that.
cereal. Yeah, I was,
Oreos.
the Warriors,
Yeah.
who will be in action later today.
Yeah, everybody kind of gets the tongue twisted. You know what
So-
I get is the Dominican names for baseball players in updates for like
Yes.
who's pitching.
There you go.
I can get those a bit
Yeah.
kind of.
But thanks to everyone. I haven't had a chance to go through all of the messages and all of those, but I couldn't be more pleased to be this and help Dusty and Ryan. And there are tons and tons of things on the docket, hopefully coming soon for the Fan and 910 and all sorts of stuff. We re-upped with the Ducks. But in the meantime, I will not be altering the things that I do on a regular basis. So we'll be continuing with golf in the Northwest. Still staying there with Dirt and Sprague in the mornings. That's once you get over the fact of getting up at 4:30, it's a lot of fun. They have been
your whole day.
They have been extremely supportive of all the stuff that I've been doing behind the scenes. So,
Well, I know I'm a sarcastic little S and that I can be that way on air, but I do truly mean this when I say you are the heartbeat of 1080 The Fan.
oh well, thank you.
I am. I'm very serious about that. You set the tone, and you are the anchor for this station.
Well,
I
thank you
believe.
very much.
Yeah, well deserved.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody out there and for all the support over the years. Who knew stringing high school football games 22 years ago would lead to this? So, yeah.
It's weird, man. It's weird how life ends up like
It's
that.
weird how life ends
Yeah.
up. We do have one guest today. We are going to go to Bend, where I am hoping to get very soon. Parscription Golf, PGA associate Jesse Heinley. We'll talk about the facility out there. More and more of these golf facilities that are simulators. That it's not an actual grass, facility. It's an indoor, but PGA fully credentialed instructors, and the wave that's coming in, especially in a place like Bend that has a definite golf season. You're not playing probably between October and March. It pretty much shuts down. So if you're in an area like that that has a definite winter season that does not allow you to go out and play golf, you still want to keep your game sharp. Great time for lessons, the simulator. But he just finished tied for second in the 99th Washington Open, which is one of the longest running professional tournaments here in the Pacific Northwest. So he's got some game too. We will talk to him coming up at 8:30. We'll get you updated. The NCAA regionals, the Ducks women won theirs. They're set for the national tournament. The men get going on Monday. The high schools are coming around, getting into state tournament mode. But as always, we do get started this morning. It's a shorter schedule for the tours, but let's go inside the ropes.
It's time for an insider's look at the leaderboards, the latest on all tours, plus local golf events and golf news. This is Inside the Ropes, part of Golf in the Northwest.
So there's two events on the PGA Tour this week because there is a signature event with the limited fields. So when they do that, they have a shoulder event as well. The 2025 One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic. You remember last year, our favorite professional golfer, Alistair Doherty, finished second and had a shot to win and possibly get his PGA Tour card, but cashed a nice paycheck. Unfortunately, back this year, did not make the cut, finished at +3. But this is for guys that are trying to make their way onto the tour, get some higher status, or make sure they get in and secure their card for the upcoming seasons. Big events. Playing the Dunes Golf and Beach Club there in Myrtle Beach, 7,347 yards, a par 71. Tie for the lead right now, Mackenzie Hughes and Cristobal del Solar at 10 under par. Harry Higgs, Nick Watney among those at 9 under par. Former Duck Norman Zhang there at 8 under par. So, and these sorts of things, these are wild shootouts, more similar to the Korn Ferry Tour where you've got a ton of golfers. Andrew Putnam, he's tied for 9th at 7. So you have 15 golfers within 3 shots of the lead going into the weekend. They tend to be birdie fest, which is sometimes fun as long as the weather cooperates. But Mackenzie Hughes looking for his third victory on tour. Cristobal del Solar out of Chile. He was a graduate from the Korn Ferry Tour last year, looking for his first PGA Tour victory in his rookie year. And so we'll keep an eye on that one. Last week on the Korn Ferry Tour, you had Bryson Nimmer pick up his first career victory in his 50th start on the PGA Tour. That vaults him up into the top 20, where he will be in position to get a PGA Tour card there after finishing 141st 2 years ago. He was 114th last year on the Korn Ferry Tour, so he needed to get in. This will have him secure this year and next year on the Korn Ferry Tour if he does not play his way onto the PGA Tour. The LPGA Tour, one of their long-time spots, Liberty National Golf Club there in Jersey City. You know that golf course. It's right there in the harbor. You can see Lady Liberty from the fairways. It is the Mizuho Americas Open, three-way tie for the lead. Somi Lee with Andrea Lee, the former Portland Classic winner, and Nelly Korda, who is still looking for her first win this season after her record-setting year a year ago. She hasn't played poorly. She's finished top 30 in all her starts this year, but just hasn't been that dominant player that we saw last year. Took a lot out of her. And so getting into their U.S. Open coming up and some of their majors after the first one was played a couple of weeks ago, nice to see Nelly rounding into form. They are 8 under par. Stephanie Kiriakou of Australia, Carlota Saganda from Spain, Jenny Bay from the United States, also at 7 under par. So you have a packed leaderboard as well. World number 2, Gino Titicun is there at 7 under. Celine Boutier is there. So this will be a lot of fun. You'll get coverage on Golf Channel today, 2 p.m. that will pick up. And then CBS will have the final round starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And the Golf Channel stream will pick it up earlier in the round. They played for the first time in Southern Utah, the Black Desert Championship last week, if you saw any of it on television. Boy, Southern Utah, if you want a golf destination to go, where you're just interested in playing golf, just amazing. Stunning views, golf courses out there in a high desert situation. A gorgeous course. It was the inaugural Black Desert Championship. And Korean Haerin Yu getting the victory. And so yet again, another international player hits her third career PGA Tour victory, 10th different winner on the tour this year. The PGA Tour, again, the signature event at the Philadelphia Cricket Club, the Truist Championship, playing for a ridiculous purse. Our man, Kashmir Keith Mitchell at 12 under par. He was the first-round leader with a 9 under 61. And following it up with a 3 under 67. So 12 under par. He goes off at 11:20 this morning with Shane Lowry, who's won back. Sepp Straka at 10 under par. Justin Thomas, who won a couple of weeks ago. Rory McIlroy at 7 under. Morikawa as well. So it is a stacked leaderboard there. But we'll see if Keith Mitchell can get in there. He has not won since 2019. The Cognizant Classic was his last win on tour. So it's his lone win. So he's looking to get there. That would be one of the nicer guys, more enjoyable. If you missed, we got a chance to interview him last year on Dirt and Sprague. So much fun. Loves his Georgia Bulldog football. And is really enjoyable. So I think a lot of guys on tour, obviously they want to see themselves win, but they will be pulling for Kashmir Keith on that one. Last week, of course, Scotty Scheffler finally got in the W column, an 8-shot runaway victory at the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson right there in his hometown of Dallas, his 14th win in his career. First one, though, this season, wondering when that would come after his ridiculous year last year. And so now he's putting himself in position to get to Oakmont. But 31 under par. He tied the all-time PGA Tour lowest score for a 72-hole event, tied with Ludwig Aberg from 2 years ago at the RSM Classic, and then Justin Thomas in the 2017 Sony Open with a 72-hole score of 253. So JT getting it into shape as well, which all sets up for what could be an outstanding PGA Championship next week at Quail Hollow. Rory's won there 4 times. Justin Thomas won a PGA Championship there before. Jordan Spieth has won there before. So some of the more familiar names could all be in contention. We'll take a look at the weather. We'll preview that when we come back here. Just getting started in the heat of golf season. Weather's fantastic in the Northwest as well. We will talk to Jesse Heinley of Parscription Golf in Bend coming up at the Business of Golf here. Glad you're with us on this glorious May Saturday. It's Golf in the Northwest on 1080 The Fan. Concordia, you played there. Now, you spent 1 year where you went out to Xavier and played on the golf team there. How does somebody playing at little old Concordia tucked up here get discovered out in Cincinnati?
It was a small world, actually. The coach at Xavier was his daughter was married to my cousin.
Ah,
And yeah, through a family barbecue, there was some talk going on, and I had just won the Boise State Invitational at Concordia. And my uncle kind of subtly dropped a hint like, hey, you looking for a new player? And he's like, kind of, yeah. So I got in touch with him, and one thing led to another. I went for a recruiting visit and went out there for a year.
how as somebody that grew up in the Pacific Northwest, how much of a culture change was that out in Cincinnati? And then you came back and finished up at Concordia and had All-American seasons, Conference Player of the Year, and those sorts of things. But how important was an experience like that for you at that time in your life?
Oh, really important. I mean, it was definitely an eye-opener to that side of the country, especially Ohio itself. Very, very different than Oregon. It wasn't for me, but the experience was awesome. The year I had there on the golf team was great. We went to a lot of different tournaments, played against a lot of powerhouse schools. I think it really opened my eye to the fact that, I can compete with anybody as long as I put my mind to it and practice. But you got to be disciplined, and everybody on that level is really good.
Well, then you came back to Concordia after that. You won the Royal Oaks Invitational in 2014. That was no small feat. They're very proud of that tournament over there at Royal Oaks. And then you tried to hit the professional tour, the McKenzie Tour, some of the mini tours. Just for people that haven't ever tried to go there, that aren't some phenom that have sponsorships from the very get-go, just how much of a grind is that, and how much do you discover about yourself, how much you love the game going through that process?
Yeah, it's a grind. You got to have a big support system. You got to have a lot of financials also. Luckily, I was able to get a few sponsors to help me for a few years, so I didn't have to work during that. But the amount of money it takes to do something like that, especially on your own, it's a lot. I probably had the bare minimum to do it. So traveling, kind of access to resources was limited. Had to sort of plot my way around that a little bit. And it's lonely. You travel a lot. I was logging about 25,000 miles in my car every year, and it was a grind. And you have to be obsessed with golf. You really do. I mean, you have to want to practice 6 to 8 hours a day when you're not playing tournaments. You have to really be kind of a golf nerd. And, I found out about myself that I don't think I was cut out for 6 to 8 hours of practice a day. Still love the game, still compete, still like to practice, but it's definitely an obsession you have to have when you're out there.
We're chatting with Jesse Heinle out there at Parscription Golf in Bend, PGA associate. And so now you decide, I gave it my best shot, but yep, you still want to be involved in the game. And Parscription, and we're seeing this a lot more, especially in areas like Central Oregon, where the playing season out on courses is limited due to the weather where you're at. But let everybody know a little bit about what Parscription is. It's been there in Central Oregon for a long time, but as the simulator game has gotten bigger and more refined, you guys have been able to expand your services quite a bit.
Yeah, correct. We've been here. This is so my dad, who's a PGA professional, Andy Heinle, he's been PGA for about 33 years now or so. He's on the store for 14 years now, and it's grown tremendously. COVID was probably one of the best things to happen to golf, especially around here. And the indoor simulator game is awesome. We just did a renovation last year. We added 3 more simulators to our store, just because business has been crazy. We get, almost sometimes up to a dozen fittings a day in here. And the simulator game's taken off. The data and everything that you get from some of the high-end simulators nowadays is about as real as it gets. And it really helps us instructors kind of show people numbers, understand why certain things happen the way they do without trying to overcomplicate the golf swing. So they're very beneficial.
And so now you spent time at Broken Top and Aubrey Glen over there as an assistant golf professional as well. What's the biggest difference working with players out on a grass tee box, in instructing them, as well as having chipping areas, those sorts of things, versus working with the simulator for students? What's the biggest difference that you've had to adjust, and for students wanting to develop their game?
Yeah, I think inside, outside comes with its challenges. You have all the outside factors: wind, altitude, weather, range balls, that sort of thing. Inside has its benefits in the sense of we have a perfect setting that we can teach people in. We're on a flat lie. We're in a 70-degree air-conditioned room with no wind. And so you can teach kind of the right habits to people. And with the numbers that you get on our simulators, we have a GC Falcon from Foresight and then 3 HD golf simulators. They track, club path, club angle, speed, all that. So it shows people that when they compare themselves to maybe some of the pros or just some of their buddies, where they're at, and maybe that they're not quite as far off as they think. And I like teaching inside. I mean, it is. You kind of can build somebody's swing in a perfect setting so that they can take that outside and really work at it that way.
As far, the full swing, I think people get that. Working on a short game. Right now, my putting, I cannot judge the speed of a green. What are things going on in the development? I know like indoor artificial turf, they're working on all sorts of newer. We saw what they did with that TGL sort of thing, but trying to better simulate turfs for you. How is the indoor simulation game working on your short game?
Yeah, ours isn't we don't have a whole lot of areas. We have a couple small little putting greens. We do have a Sam Putt Lab that we do putter fittings on, and I've taught a few people just in the sense of maybe trying to refine their putting stroke. That's probably one area we're limited on when it comes to lag putting. I mean, we can't really suffer to teach lag putting in here. That's definitely something I'm like, hey guys, just go out to the putting green. You just have to practice it, throw balls down, putt from 20 feet, 60 feet, and just practice. But again, we're definitely more on the technical side here. It's when we have somebody who's maybe putting well or hitting the ball well and they like the way their game feels, then that's when we say, okay, here's the numbers that you hit when you're swinging well or putting well. So that's what you should look for then when you're outside putting, and you can kind of compare it to that.
Chatting here with Jesse Heinley, PGA Associate Professional out there at Parscription in Bend. And what's next? Obviously, staying up on the simulation game. How far is the technology going? And are there some things on the forefront? A next kind of breakthrough to even get it more in tune with what you can experience. So when you go then to the courses in the spring and the summer out there in Central Oregon, you're feeling very, very comfortable, and it's not a big transition for people.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit on the head earlier, TGL, that showed the kind of the, where the next step's going, maybe with some of those indoor golf simulations. I don't think we have the budget here to ever do something like that. It's not in the near future. But, I mean, with the simulators we have here, the GC Falcons from Foresight, they have barometers on them, so you can set altitude if you're going on a trip and kind of compare your numbers that way. With those putting mats and with the putting simulations that they have and basically the floorboards that move so you can practice different putts. I mean, that's, I think, where it's going. Outside of that, it's probably never going to be, I don't think you can ever fully simulate what it's like outside, but they're getting about as close as you can get.
And then you're coming off, we mentioned, a tie for 2 at the Washington Open. You have obviously played in a lot of these professional events, top amateur events, growing up the Pacific Northwest and there at Concordia. That was a deep, deep field up there at Tacoma Golf and Country Club. How is your game, and how have you kept your game in shape to have the ability? And obviously, we're going to see the PGA Championship next week, so there'll be club pros going out there. Is that something, that competitive thing, that being a professional still allows you to kind of scratch that itch when you have it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm almost done with my level 3, so hopefully I'll be a full PGA of America here pretty soon, maybe in the next month or two. But yeah, I mean, golf's a funny game. I don't think I had broken 70 all year up until this Washington Open. You know, I sounded like a broken record probably to some of my friends and family that I was like, I feel really close, even though I was shooting in like the high 70s. But I didn't feel like I was playing that bad. So patience is just a huge key with golf. Just telling yourself that you know how to do it, and then eventually it will pay off. And the Washington Open was a great example of that. You know, it didn't feel a whole lot different than a lot of the rounds that I had played when I was shooting between 78 and 80 over the past month. So it's a funny game.
Yeah, 72, 67, 65 to get to 12 under. Three-way tie for second there, just one shot off the win. How much, so for people that are wondering, obviously you developed your game to a certain level through college, All-American, playing on professional tours, but now that you're working for a living, giving lessons, maintaining Parscription, how much time do you still need to dedicate to yourself to practice to keep what your game is sharp and in order?
More time than I'm doing. But you have to keep it up. I think, you know, I need to get out and, you know, maybe hit up a local course once or twice a month just to putt and chip. I think that's the biggest area. I think with these simulators, my swing never feels bad. I get some practice in here, and I think it translates really well to outside as long as you kind of take into effect all the outside variables. But yeah, putting and chipping is definitely a big thing. I mean, it really is just something you got to get out and feel, and something that I'd like to practice a little bit more on, because I felt like that was kind of holding me back for a while. But yeah, I need to do more than I do. But yeah, it's just a constant thing. I tell a lot of people, if you can just get out for 30 minutes twice a week, putt and chip, it'll make a huge difference.
And if you are having a PGA instructor, what a crucial point of it is helping them give you some drills, some things, so that when you go, because we all have limited time when we've got families and jobs and all of that stuff. So when we go out there and practice, we're organized, and it's a useful time, whether you have a half hour or an hour. And that's why we've recommended for years on this show, get yourself a PGA certified instructor, not only to help you build a swing, fix the mechanical things that you're looking to fix, but then they can develop a practice plan for you, so you can be very, very useful and efficient with your time when you do create it for your game. For people that want to learn more about Parscription itself, you guys are full service, not only the simulators, but one of the biggest golf shops in Central Oregon, complete custom fitting programs as well. Great place to go. And when I visit my son over there next time, I got to come by and say hi. How do people get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, we're actually the only off-course full retail golf shop. But yeah, we have simulators, full service retail, full service repair shop. Pretty much any club problems you have, we can fix, or at least attempt to. And we have a website, parxgolfbend.com. All our emails are on there, myself, Andy, a couple of our other instructors, and you can email us. We have a info@parxgolfbend email that we'll respond back to, or our phone number's on there too. We always have somebody answering the phone.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on the finish there at the Washington Open, and I know that puts you in position as the season points race comes on, and before you know it, be hopefully able to participate there, possibly qualifying for the PGA, one of those 20 Club Pro spots in the PGA Championships moving forward. So great to talk with you here, Jesse Heinle. Thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you down the road.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Jason. Stop by Ben sometime.
We'll definitely be out there. Jesse Heinley out there at Parscription Golf. And you'll see in markets like that, especially either remote places that have areas that have definite winter seasons where your on-course season is limited. You'll see more and more and more of these facilities around there. So take advantage of it. Give them a call. They have an entire PGA staff out there as well if you're looking for lessons. But when I go out and visit my son out there, definitely going to stop by. I could see, if you're going to get into golf there, Will, I could see you doing the simulator thing.
I don't think you know how horrible I am at golf.
Yeah, but then, but you're right there. It's not like you're
Even
being,
Top Golf's embarrassing.
the simulator pieces I think are more if you once, now that your household is about to get bigger or more full and you are seeking Serenity Now time.
Serenity Now.
But you can't like go a half hour away to a course and be there for 5 hours, but you could get to a simulator somewhere nearby. There's a lot in the Portland area too.
I feel that.
I could see, and you're not wanting to, play pickup basketball or whatever anymore because things are creaking. I could see that's going to be your avenue to get into golf.
Yeah, I mean, pickup basketball is not happening anyway because of the knees.
Exactly.
My wife would come down to whatever
you
gym
can't be
or outdoor
hurt
court
here.
and pull my ear off the court,
Exactly.
saying, "Get out of there now."
Exactly.
So yeah, golf. I don't know. We'll see. I became a baseball fan last year. Perhaps now I'll pick up golf.
There you go. I
Probably
think
not.
that's in your future. All right. Well, thanks again to Jesse Heinley. And thanks again to Dominic Marconi over there at the Oregon PGA chapter for once again helping us arrange all the interviews with our local golf pros here in the region. We'll come back. The NCAA golf regionals are in action. The women were just completed. The men get going on Monday. High school golf tournaments are coming up. We'll check in on some of the local golfers and how they are doing as we wrap this edition up. Golf in the Northwest on 1080 The Fan.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th.
individual title. Ran away, had the best round of the week. They're a 10 under 62 and just ran away with it at 12 under par, winning by, I believe, 5 shots. The team finished 7 under and won it. It's their second regional victory in program history. The team that won in 21-22 went on to the national championship round. They were runners-up that year. And so the only thing this program has not done yet is to win that national title. But they've got some wins. It's her 4th career individual tournament win, and that ties the program record. Kendra Little, back who played between 2008 and 2011, held that. Brianna Chacon was the other player that won a individual regional title, and so we will be keeping an eye on them. They will go to the national championship, and that will be down at the Omni La Costa down there. It'll start Friday, May 16th, and go through. So there'll be individual stroke play that will happen. That'll determine an individual champion as well as the teams, and then the top 8 teams from the individual stroke play will then go into match play, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the championship. So the 5-member teams, very similar to, Ryder Cup style that we're used to seeing. So, but they're one of the 3 teams in the nation that won both its conference tournament and the NCAA regional. And so they will be looked at as one of the favorites there. The men, meanwhile, didn't have one of the top dominant seasons that we've seen in previous years for Casey Martin. They are the 6th seed at the Auburn University Regional, hosted by Auburn. They are the number 1 ranked team in the entire country. And so they will have their work cut out for them in a regional with Texas A&M, UCLA, who won the Big Ten Conference, SMU, Georgia Tech, Purdue, among others. So we will keep an eye on them. We mentioned the high school players were having district tournaments. I was actually out at Forest Hills on Thursday, and the 3A, 2A, 1A Special District 1 had their tournament. So Oregon Episcopal, the Aardvarks, congratulations. They're going on. A freshman, Mateo Gramstad, with a 71-72, taking first place honors. So they will play at Tristing Tree, the 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. We're a full service here. So there you go. I'm getting played off. It'll be Center and Saint coming up next. We'll have the PGA Championship next week. Tons with that. So until then, the weather continues to be great. Courses will get a little rain tomorrow. That'll help them look great next week. Hope you're having a great time. Thanks again to Jesse Heinley for joining us. For Will, I'm Jason. Hit 'em straight.
You have an idea of how hard it's blowing. Look, I'm in the rough quite a bit. So
Yeah, you
suck moisture out of the greens.
Make sure I left the ball below the hole.
You know how easy I am.
Yeah, I know.
PJ's in Europe.
Dwight back with you for Forest Hills Golf Course out in Cornelius, my home course once again. I got to get my game back in shape after basketball season, and I was recently out there, saw Marcus. His crew has done unbelievable work over the winter, opening things up, making it more playable, more options on each hole. It is simply the best value on the west side. Multiple practice areas.